Wait, can we actually add some bubble sound effects to that clip? Perfect. Yep.
Hey guys, my name's Dan, and today's reaction comes from Dead Meat. This is American Psycho 2 All-American Girl Kill Count. Now, I really wasn't looking forward to watching this just at all, considering what everybody at Dead Meat has been saying, and even Mila Kunis herself, and she appeared in the movie. Oh boy, so it'll be interesting to see just how it all came together, and I feel like that may be all that's interesting about it. But if you enjoy other Dead Meat videos, I reacted to many of them for you to enjoy, and if you want to see future reactions that I do, you can go right below this video, click that like button, that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell, because not only does it give you access to future reactions that I do, but also helps my channel out a ton. And then go on over and support Dead Meat if you haven't already. I'll leave a link to the channel down in the description. Now, without any further ado, let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm Chelsea Rebecca, and today we're looking at American Psycho 2 All-American Girl, which was released straight to DVD in 2002. While the first film is somewhat of a misunderstood masterpiece, this sequel absolutely lives up to its abysmal reputation. I mean it. This thing is majestically terrible. It buries any tension beneath overwritten scenes filled with painfully bloodless kills and confounding dialogue.
Why would you lie to me?
Because I don't expose my Achilles heel to anyone.
It also has very little to do with the first film. No surprise, since it wasn't an American Psycho sequel to begin with. It started production as a thriller titled The Girl Who Wouldn't Die, with a screenplay by two people who had no prior credits. Aside from a 2005 TV movie, they would have no later credits either. Lionsgate decided they wanted American Psycho to be a franchise, so they forced a Patrick Bateman connection into The Girl Who Wouldn't Die, even though it had already started filming. How did that turn out? Well, the movie has a glorious 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my God.
Our All-American Girl Who Wouldn't Die is Rachel Newman, played by Mila Kunis. Though only 18, Kunis had already filmed 4 seasons of That 70s Show and 2 of Family Guy. Those were both successful shows. Why did she do this movie? Rachel is a college student studying to become an FBI agent and believes a lucrative position as her professor's TA is her ticket to Quantico. Unfortunately for her, her classmates are also eyeing the job, and when the competition gets too hot, the killer co-eds start stacking some student bodies. All those bodies hanging around are gonna start smelling pretty bad, so it's a good thing today's episode is sponsored by Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch makes a range of high-performing natural self-care products that leave you feeling and I feel lost and dirty without it. 98% natural in origin. Look at this label. I recognize everything on here. How many soaps can you say that for? You don't have to answer. I have the ingredient list for another bar of soap that shall remain nameless. Sodium lauryl isethionate. Those aren't real words. Try Dr. Squatch for yourself with the link below, and new customers can use code DSQDeadMeat to get 20% off on orders over $20. This movie's marketing promises it's angrier, deadlier, sexier. Not sure about 2 of those, but I'm here to test that second one. Let's get to the kills. The movie begins with another head in Patrick Bateman's fridge. Hope he buys those in bulk at Costco. Our favorite murderous money man is grabbing an eye mask from his freezer, just like in the first film. His outfit's a little strange though, and that's not the only thing different about Patrick Bateman here. He's now played in the peripherals by some guy named Michael Kremko, probably because Christian Bale was busy fighting dragons with Matthew McConaughey. Or maybe they sent him the script, to which he responded like that guy from Dorsia.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bateman's dinner guests are a young Rachel and her babysitter Clara, who I guess brought her along on this date? Serial killer or not, why would you do that? We're treated to an American Psycho-style opening monologue, though one less introspective and more describing the things we're seeing.
God, I mean, look at her. All drugged up and tied to a chair.
As Rachel frees and arms herself, Patrick kills Clara? Question mark? Not sure how, but that's a bunch of digital blood on the floor, so sure, she's the first on our count. Bateman's too busy doing whatever it is he's doing to notice Rachel sneaking up behind him with an ice pick. She raises it above her head and Yep, that's how they kill off the iconic main character from the first film, off screen by a tween. The plucky murderer takes an elevator down to a title card, and when she emerges, she's Mila Kunis, looking like an Old Navy 4th of July sale. We're told in voiceover that Rachel was never tied to the crime scene, even though, like, one of the bodies was her babysitter. Also, as mentioned, Kunis had been Meg Griffin for a couple of years by now. Why is this narration so bad?
So here I am today, attending the most renowned behavioral studies program in the nation.
According to a very real-looking sign, Rachel attends the
Yeah, it kind of sounds like she's just reading these words for the very first time. No preparation whatsoever.
fictional West Washington College. She has her sights set on the FBI Academy at Quantico, a decision she made shortly after killing Patrick Bateman.
I silently vowed to devote my life to stopping other psycho killers.
She wants to be a federal agent. But before she can be Starling, she's gonna have to be Starfleet with Professor Bobby Starkman.
Stop calling me Bobby.
Sorry, Robert Starkman, played by the captain himself, William Shatner. Starkman is a former FBI serial killer hunter, which is not a real job. He retired after failing to solve the murder of one Patrick Bateman.
Funny how life works, isn't it?
Starkman's looking to replace his current teaching assistant, Elizabeth McGuire, played by Hilary Duff. Oh wait, sorry, that's Kim Schraner, last seen on the kill count getting ragdolled by the Hoffmanator in Saw 3D. Rachel wants the job since she sees it as a fast track to the FBI. Unfortunately, so does the entire class, including rich kid Brian, smart kid Keith, and has boobs kid Cassandra, whom Starkman very openly flirts with after class. He even gives her the "I am having an affair with you" heart necklace from Love Actually. Rachel fills out her TA application, but is told by a school employee named Gertie that she can't apply because she's only a freshman. This is a prime example of this movie's awful screenplay. We shouldn't spend this long discussing the minutia of an application process. We also shouldn't spend so long talking about GPAs, like when that Brian kid complains about his not being high enough for the job.
Wait till she sees my GPA after my cousin hacks into the mainframe.
You want a dangerous drinking game? Drink every time a character says GPA.
GPA.
That'll leave you drunker than 2013 me watching Snow White. Eat it, bitch! Outside, Gertie is stalked to a score that sounds like transition music from SpongeBob SquarePants. Wait, can we actually add some bubble sound effects to that clip? Perfect.
Yep,
I saw one reviewer say this music sounds like it came from Desperate Housewives, and that's dead on accurate.
Never seen the show.
Gertie gets home in the year of our Lord 2002 and calls out for her cat Ricky Martin, who is currently being put in a microwave? Come on, that's not an ATM. Lucy, look away. Thankfully, the cat doesn't get fully urban legended. The death in this scene is reserved for Gertie, who gets knocked over by an edgy guitar solo. She's beaten to death by a figure in a hoodie who uses an award scene outside her office earlier. Kinda lame that it happens off screen, but Ricky eating hair stuck to her brain matter is a nice touch. A figure in that same hoodie walks back to Rachel's dorm and is revealed to be that Brian dude asking Rachel on a date. So did Brian just kill Gertie? I genuinely can't tell if this is an intentional fake out or bad costuming, like how Rachel's been wearing the movie subtitle on her shirt. Could this be the script though, seeing as an alien apparently wrote this scene?
Fine, just pick me up at 8.
8? Like 8 p.m.?
Yeah.
Like between 7 and 9?
Yeah.
Okay, the scene can be over now.
Yes, please.
All right, I'll see you at 8.
Whatever.
Maybe I'll be there like 5 minutes later.
Dude, leave!
Okay.
Their dinner conversation isn't any better as Brian tries to bribe Rachel into dropping out of the great TA race. I think he can afford it too, judging by this restaurant and its clientele. It's definitely not the campus Pancheros. Instead of sensibly taking his money and waiting a single year to apply, Rachel lures Brian back to her dorm room with a jump-cutting montage of giggles that lasts way too long. Brian begins to notice some things that seem out of place, like a picture of someone who's not Rachel and an ice pick, which we all know is primarily a murder tool. But Rachel eschews the pick for this prick and instead comes from behind to strangle him to death with a condom.
Ribbed for her pleasure.
That's probably the most famous line from this movie, but do not let it distract you from the fact that they went back to that goofy-ass cowboy music during this kill.
Yep.
Rachel disposes of his body while voicing a justification, reasoning that she'll be able to save lives when she's in the FBI.
I'm killing the few to save the many. Sort of like Robin Hood, you know?
Even she knows that sounds batshit, so she schedules a meeting with the school psychiatrist, Dr. Daniels, a friend of Professor Starkman. The two of them talk for months, I guess, given the amount of dissolves in this scene. It might honestly be her sophomore year by the time she leaves. At least their combo gives us critical info we didn't already know.
If you could be anyone in the world, except yourself, who would that be?
Elizabeth McGuire.
I've always wanted a little cartoon version of myself. Dr. Daniels, world's best therapist, immediately diagnoses Rachel as a sociopath and calls Starkman to warn him about her. Due to patient-doctor confidentiality, which is being all sorts of violated right now, the two make an agreement.
I won't tell you the name if you promise not to say it out loud once you figured it out.
I wasn't aware you could 21 questions yourself out of a HIPAA violation. Daniels implies that the patient is a female student who's obsessed with Starkman, setting us up for some sitcom-level misunderstanding later. Rachel attends a swanky goodbye party for Lizzie McGuire, but when she tries to talk to Starkman, he's already
that's what she was referring to, the Lizzie McGuire show. Oh my god, how did I miss that?
deep in bootlickers. No one is giving her an opening. And why is everyone so mean to her?
Excuse me. Oh, bite me, Barbie.
Oh, that's probably why. At least Cassandra is around. She's kind of Rachel's friend. We learned that earlier when we also saw her rocking a zigzag part. Wonder if she used a part pizzazz.
It's Part Pizzazz, the new hair weaving tool for hot new zigzag parts from the makers of Harigami.
Cassandra is played by Lindsay
remember
Booth,
that.
last seen on the Kill Count in the OG Wrong Turn. She also starred in Cry_Wolf, another movie in which she has an affair with her professor and which we covered on an early episode of the podcast. Cassandra, who is weirdly proud of sleeping with a married teacher, tells Rachel she's all but secured the TA position thanks to her and Starkman's extended study sessions. That tidbit earns her a scene transition joke,
Don't let me down. Don't worry. I would never let you down.
as well as a spot on the kill count when it's revealed that Rachel has hanged Cassandra by her neck, and all she needs is a lovelorn note to make it look like a suicide. You know, as long as the police don't dust for fingerprints or gather any DNA evidence whatsoever. Deciding she likes the psycho lifestyle, Rachel tells Dr. Daniels that she's done with their sessions, but she doesn't just quit with therapy, she fucking drags his ass for like 5 minutes straight.
A dead-end job with no love life? I mean, all while taking care of your you just stay here year after year, just getting older and older. And on top of this, you're divorced? Your life is very similar to Ed Gein's.
Ed Gein.
Those dissolves aren't actually in this scene. I just added them because I think it's a good callback. It's also very funny to watch this poor man get roasted for what seems like hours. Rachel's newfound confidence leads her to a class debate with smart kid Keith, who finally gets to say a line of dialogue 40 minutes into the movie.
Premeditated with a capital P.
Capital P.
P, it's a letter in the alphabet. Between the O and the Q.
That kind of alphabetry earns Keith a stalking POV shot, and the music playing over it spells bad news with a capital B.
Yep, again.
Oh baby, you know someone's gonna get murdered when you hear that Jackbox music. Rachel corners Keith in the library, stopping momentarily to admire his artwork. Huh, he kinda sketches like Patrick Bateman. Oh well, better murder him. Off screen, of course, because this movie is bad. Starkman pays a visit to Cassandra's dorm room because I guess this guy doesn't give a damn if anyone knows he's sleeping with a student. Seriously, can you imagine how weird it would be to see a professor lurking around your dorm? He enters the room and somehow fails to see Cassandra's hanging corpse until he's within shot-gasping distance of her. Not wanting to go the way of Kate Mara, he quickly cleans up the crime scene, disposing of the note and the picture she had of him out in the open on her desk. Damn, neither of these idiots cared about getting caught, huh? Starkman calls Daniels, and the seeds of confusion planted earlier blossom into a full-on vaudeville-esque misunderstanding.
She's dead.
Who is?
She is. The she whose name we agreed not to say aloud.
My patient.
Starkman, of course, means Cassandra, while Daniels thinks that he's talking about Rachel. Man, why is Starkman even reaching out to this guy for help?
Because you're my fucking shrink.
You're retired FBI and you use the school's guidance counselor as your therapist. Sure, whatever, script.
Yep.
With her competition eliminated, Rachel confidently awaits the TA announcement, only for Elizabeth to inform the class that Starkman's taking an early sabbatical.
In other words, there'll be no TA position for next semester.
Rachel's disappointment is so great, it can only be conveyed through more dissolves. Determined not to have murdered all those people in vain, Rachel shows up to Starkman's office that night dressed in Cassandra's blue dress. He doesn't notice at first since he's already high as a kite by then, but some gratuitous teenager cleavage finally makes him realize she's got the necklace he'd given Cassandra in class. Understandably disturbed, Starkman demands that Rachel leave while telling her his thoughts about this whole damn movie.
This is unacceptable.
James and I rewound that part several times when we watched this. I just can't get over his delivery and what he's doing with his hands.
This is unacceptable.
Instead of leaving, Rachel reveals that she knows Starkman used to date another student of his named Clara, Rachel's babysitter from the opening scene. Things get a little messy here, so bear with me, but I think Rachel says that Clara was on a date with Patrick Bateman after seeing a photo of him in Starkman's case files and thinking he was cute. Then Clara knowingly brought 12-year-old Rachel along on her date with a suspected serial killer.
This is unacceptable.
And if you think that doesn't make sense, well, things get weirder.
She'd show me pictures of you. You were my first crush.
Clara, I have questions. Rachel's allegedly had a Kirk kink since she was a little tween and says she joined the school's program specifically to get close to him. Starkman thinks that's a pretty blue origin story and backs up against an open window. Rachel awkwardly blows him a kiss that turns out to be a genuine fus roda, since it blows him over the windowsill, killing him and the only enjoyable part of this movie. Everything about this movie is bad, but I can't not laugh at William Shatner's performance, especially in this scene.
I love you, Bobby.
What?
Please don't be upset, Bobby.
Stop calling me Bobby.
Since the movie's whole plot just fell to its death, Rachel decides to start murdering random people, beginning with this janitor who knows too much now. Like how Miss Lippy's car is green. Rachel kills him off screen, but as she drives away
Did
later,
not think we were gonna get a Billy Madison reference.
we get a decently bloody shot of his body with a mop impaled through his head. A security guard stops her while she's speeding away, but after he sees Starkman's body in the front seat, Rachel attacks him off screen with an ice pick.
I mean, sure, that might as
Why
well
do they all
happen.
keep screaming like that? You know what? Fuck it. Let's introduce some new characters. Rachel's parents make a surprise visit for her mother's birthday dinner, an event both Rachel and the audience didn't know about. Mrs. Newman helps pad the movie's runtime.
Well, is this restaurant reasonably priced?
Yes.
Is there an early bird special?
While Mr. Newman complains that the room smells like a dead body, a scent he's probably familiar with from his time aboard the Grendel in Jason X. Before either of them can find anything incriminating, Rachel ushers her parents out. It was so unreal. How could something like this happen?
In 2002, tragedy struck Americans everywhere.
I turned on my TV and couldn't believe what I was seeing.
A true crime that remains unsolved to this day.
She was such a successful, all-American girl.
A world filled with promise.
And I do not hope for a better world for anyone.
Killed by a studio fueled with greed.
This is unacceptable.
From the makers of Foul Punishment, the tale of Howard the Duck, comes a new true crime podcast about the murder of the American Psycho franchise. American Psycho Poo, All American Greed. Being rejected this fall by Rooster Teeth.
They go to the same restaurant where she and Brian went earlier, which is also where Dr. Daniels is presently dining with his mother. Because of the misunderstanding with Starkman, Daniels thinks Rachel is dead. So when he sees her, it's like he's spotted a ghost. He drives back to campus to look for answers, failing to notice the dead body of that security guard from last night. Has his body just been sitting there for 24 hours?
Apparently.
This is unacceptable.
Hope he got some overtime pay. After finding an empty pill bottle in Starkman's office, Daniels finally decides to get the police involved. He reports his friend's disappearance to two veterans of the kill count. Jim, played by Boyd Banks, who was also on the crew of the Grendel, and Harvey, played by Neil Crone, last seen arresting another teenage murderer in It Chapter 2. The officers inform him that Starkman is their third missing person this year, one of whom is quite interesting to Dr. Daniels.
Of course, the Newman girl.
Newman?
Unlike those dissolves earlier, I did not edit that music into this scene. They really use it that often. Anyway, Rachel Newman has been reported missing because the Rachel Newman we've been following isn't actually Rachel Newman. The real Rachel Newman is this spirit Halloween-looking corpse hanging in her dorm room closet. Looks like fake Rachel killed her at the start of the semester with a wire hanger. And what's our homicidal heroine's real name? Well, they never fucking tell us, so we'll just do what the movie does and keep calling her Rachel. Fake Rachel puts real Rachel's body in a car with Starkman's, which has been sitting in there under a tarp all day. She speeds off in what is undoubtedly an eye-wateringly smelly car, but her reckless driving catches the attention of Daniels and the police officers. A car chase ensues, during which Harvey tries to get Rachel to pull over by firing his gun in the air. You can't do that, dude. Those bullets have to come down somewhere. Besides, how can you expect Rachel to pull over when she's cruising to this absolute banger on the radio? This is probably one of the greatest twists in all of cinema. That cloppity-ass Old West stock music actually exists in universe. Apparently, Rachel burned an hour-long loop of it onto a CD to listen to in her car. By the time this inept trio makes their way around the bend, they find Starkman's lifeless body chilling against a fence. A distraught Daniels narrowly avoids Rachel's speeding car, which explodes into an After Effects fireball at the bottom of the ravine. We fade into a news report detailing Rachel's killing spree, which includes a pretty graphic slideshow of some bodies that definitely should have been found before now. How long has Keith been dead in that library?
This is unacceptable.
2 years later at Quantico, Daniels is on a book tour for the Dr. Loomis expose he did on Rachel Newman. While signing books afterwards, he's approached by Elizabeth McGuire. But it's Rachel, of course, after having faked her own death. She is now using the identity of Starkman's former TA. Does this imply that she killed the real Elizabeth? Maybe, but I'm not giving any more pity kills to this shit show. This is the kill count, not a charity. Also, you're telling me Rachel joined the FBI using a fake identity. Seems like the last job you could do that for. The movie ends with another crappy voiceover as Rachel takes us back to when she faked her death. How did that squatting cop not see her? She's right there, dude. Whatever, just give us a freeze frame and put us out of our misery. Let's quantify the kills Kunis created on her way to Quantico and get to the numbers. 11 people died in American Psycho 2, which means the first movie has it beat in both quality and quantity. The victims consisted of 5 women and 6 men, giving us this all-American apple pie chart. With the runtime of 88 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 8 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Brian. It's mostly not off-screen, unlike every other kill in this movie, and it's not too often you see someone killed with a condom. Guess he could have used some more protection. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Patrick Bateman, since it's as disrespectful to the character as this screenplay is to the original film. And that's it. American Psycho 2 came out in 2002 and killed any chances of an American Psycho franchise. That's probably for the best. In 2 weeks, Uncle Zorn returns for another episode, since I've also got to keep the podcast coming out. Until next time, I'm Chelsea Rebecca. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Marriage can be tough.
Matter of opinion.
Not really.
You have to work to rekindle that spark.
Honey, I'm just not in the mood.
When the hell are you in the mood?
So don't be afraid to try new things like sexy lingerie, romantic dinners, or even getting infected with an alien consciousness that allows you to take over a small town with your slithery worm parasites.
Yeah, there's thought.
So give it everything you got, because marriage is forever.
For better or worse.
Much fucking worse.
This week, grab your life partner and some snacks.
Told your secretary to pack Mr. Pibb. It's the only Coke I like.
And won't you join us in watching James Gunn's directorial debut, Slither?
Shelby, are you nodding?
Yeah, sorry.
Then on Friday, May 20th, watch returning host Zorn Voyage Kill Count yet another killer worm movie.
Oh, my easygoing nature is getting sorely fucking tested.
Only on Dead Meat.
Slither can currently be watched on the pictured streaming.
Okay, so that certainly has a lot of recognizable faces. I may or may not enjoy that. As for this one, I did not enjoy it at all. I'm not sure what I can say that hasn't already been said, outside the fact that every kill just looks so awkward. And especially with that first kill too, because why would she just put the cat in the microwave? Just we don't need that visual, right? Just like turn on the microwave. Make some sort of noise to lure her in there. She doesn't need to have a cat in the microwave for her to be killed though I guess the ending part to where the cat was sort of just like eating away at her dead hairs may have been worth it. Either way, this movie was not at all worth it to watch. So that's going to do it for me here. But before we go, though, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my $5 and up supporters on Patreon. Marvin Espinoza, Cruising, Wolver310, Multi-Disturb 666, Jordan Bird, Lauren Davenport, Caster Kronich, Amber K, Raymond Bright, Joshua Tees, Chris Curtis, and the Baba Duke. And if you too like to have your name read at each and every one of my videos, plus many other fun goodies, maybe having me react to a past kill count or two, please head on over to patreon.com/Reactor. Link will be right there in the description. You can right below this video, click that join button there, or head right over to my channel page and click that join button there. And with that being said, comment down below, let me know what did you think about American Psycho 2. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Also want to see past reacts and I've done the other Dead Meat videos. Got a nice playlist right over there full of them for you. Share this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, ring the notification bell because I put new videos every single day, and I'll see you guys next time.